So here we are finding the domain and range and determining if it's a function and why or why not. So the first thing we want to do is find the range, and the range is the first elements in our pairs here. And in this case, we're talking about x and y, so this will be the x values. So it's going to be -1, but we only write it once if it's written again, and then 8, and then 24. And then our range would be 4, 3, 0, we already have 3, and then 5. So only write the number once if it appears more than once. Is this a function? This is not a function because our x value repeats. It doesn't matter if the y values repeat, but if the x values repeat, it is not a function. So why or why not would be x values repeat. The next one that we're looking at is the vertical line test. So on the vertical line test, all we need to do is draw one line. Now, I've talked about this in class, not drawing 5 lines. We just got to draw one somewhere in the graph. If it only hits once, then it is a function. So this is, yes, it is a function because it passes the vertical line test. Now, if we look at this graph over here, again, we only need to draw one line, and I hit once and I hit twice in my graph. So this is, no, it's not a function. And this is because it fails the vertical line test. And it doesn't matter if you draw the line here, you draw it over here, and on this case you could have drawn it here. It's just a matter of drawing one line, and if at some point you hit 2 times on the graph of your whatever the shape is, then it fails the vertical line test and it's not a function. If it only hits once, as it did in this case right here, then it is a function because it passes the vertical line test. The next graph that we're looking at is graphing the function of f of x equals 4x. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to make a t-chart, and I'm going to pick some values for x. Now normally in class, I'm going to pick -2, 0, and 2, but in this case, I'm going to pick -1, 0, and 1 just because with a multiplying, I'll end up off my graph. So 4 times -1 will get me -4. 4 times 0 will get me 0. And 4 times 1 will get me +4. I'm going to come over here in my graph, and it's in increments of 1. So -1, -4, 0, 0, and 1, 4. I'm going to combine my points and draw my line. The next one that we are looking at is we're going to graph using our intercepts. So using the x and y intercepts. So when we're doing the intercepts, that means somebody's going to equal 0. So if I'm going to do x-intercept, my y equals 0. And y-intercepts, my x equals 0. So here's my equation. So when x minus y equals 2, I have x minus 0 will be equal to 2 because I plugged the 0 in for my y. So x will equal 2. So my point is 2, 0. For the y-intercept, since x equals 0, I have 0 minus y equals 2. So negative y equals 2. I need to divide by my -1, so y equals -2. And my point will be 0, -2. Be careful not to get your points backwards. And you need to write them as a point so that you know what you're going to do with them on the graph. And x equals 2 and y equals -2 are actually graphs of a line. So we need to make sure we put them in point form. So on my x, I'm going to my positive x value right here of 2. And on my y, it's at 0, -2. And I'm going to draw my line in between them. If it says x and y intercepts, you need to solve it this way in order to get all the points on your test. Now we're looking at graphing the equation of y equals 5. This is a horizontal line, so we're going to go to where y equals 5, and we're going to draw a line. Because if we try to draw a t-chart of x and y, no matter what we put in for x, y will always be 5. And then the last one we're looking at is x equal to -2. So it's going to go right through here. Because again, if we had a t-chart, and no matter what we put in for y, we're always going to get -2 for our x value.